Hello everybody, it's John Hindhoff and Peter Mackay in the Ford Performance Global Broadcast Centre. Mustang Challenge Race 1 from Road America. And Mustang Challenge Racing brought to you by Ford. Built Ford proud. What a glorious way to kick off our Super Saturday as we get ready for getting on for 12 hours of broadcasting, with 2 rounds of the Mustang Challenge here. One today, one tomorrow, after the break for Le Mans. What is in store for us? What is the challenge for the Mustang drivers and team? Well, we're in just up the road from Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin, on the longest circuit that we visit on the IMSA schedule. And it's been one of the staples of the American Le Mans Series and IMSA since I first came to the US in 1998 and 1999. Action areas, well, it's quick through turn 1 at the top of the hill, diving down, tricky braking area to turn 5. Canada Corner will always bring a late dive, and there is a chance to do the blast up the hill and nick a place or two towards the run to the line and the checkered flag as well. As far as the season goes, we'll tell you a little bit about that at the moment. We've got 18 of the 19 cars that we expected, with Colin Harrison and Tech Sport not in the pit lane and coming out onto the pits. Let's take a quick look at the starting grid, brought to you by Ford Performance. And it's another pole position for Robert Noaker. In the R&R Robert Noaker Racing Team, Devin Anderson is alongside for Tech Sport. Sandy Satullo for R&R backs up his team leader in third, right behind him in second row of the grid. Then Sam Paley on the outside in the number 26. On row 3, Marcus Vento for McCumbee-McAleer Racing. Alex Bashura, first of the Dark Horse Legends, in a very creditable 6th position for Spark Performance. In 7th position on the inside of row number 4, Alfonso Diaz for Tech Sport has Tate Pritt for Automatic Racing alongside him. And rounding up the top 10, 2 McCumbee-McAleer Racing drivers. Dark Horse Legends, Zach Lee in third in that category in the 48. And he's got Corbin Collins in the Dark Horse category in the number 20 alongside him. 6th row of the grid, Doug Pedersen for Pedersen Racing Group in the number 87, with Drew Nobile and NV Autosport alongside him. Paolo Salvatore for Torre Racing and Scott Thompson are on row 7. Row 8, Tom Tate for Competition Motors and NV Autosport's Stephen Veja. And backing up the field, Nick Smithers for Nick Smither Racing and Robert Noaker Racing, Joseph Dedricks in the number 63 car on the 9th row. This race last year got a little bit untidy, and our race direction had to have a word with the drivers before we went to the rest of the season. They've, I'm sure, had a stern drivers briefing. Peter Mackay is alongside me in the Ford Performance Global Broadcast Centre, and so far this season in Dark Horse, at least, it's been the Robert Noaker show, Peter.
It really has. He's been so dominant over the opening 4 races, taking all of them home, and the form book has continued here at Road America in practice and in qualifying, with qualifying time over a second ahead of Devin Anderson. That is going to be some job for the rest of the field to overcome. But think about the Le Mans Invitational, which we were lucky enough to commentate on at the 24 Hours of Le Mans this year, where Robert Noaker had a lot of pace, but the race didn't quite turn out that way. So there's still plenty to play for, but Noaker, he is the man with the target on his back for sure.
What about Alex Bashura qualifying on the outside of row 3 in the best of Dark Horse Legends, with Alfonso Diaz at on the same row. No, 1 row behind him, I was right. That's a battle that could be interesting to watch as well.
It will, yes. There's stories up and down because we have the Dark Horse and the Dark Horse Legends, and you look at Alex Bashura, who's the leader in Dark Horse Legend, but he's actually second overall in the total championship as well. It's been an amazing start to the season for Alex, and he'll be wanting to continue here over the 4 miles of Road America, where it's super fast, over 100 miles an hour average speed in these Mustang Dark Horse machines.
The cars are identical. The two classes are split by the age and experience of the drivers. One thing I will tell you, at a little after 8 o'clock in the morning Central Time, this is a fantastic alarm call for all of you here camping at America's National Park of Speed. Race 1 of 2 of the Mustang Challenge here at the Motul Sports Car Grand Prix, one of IMSA's blue riband events. Good run to the line and a jump away from the number 13 of Robert Neuinger in the blue and white car to the pit wall side of that long climbing pit straight. He gets away and brings Sandy Satullo in the red, white and black car through with him, or the one with the more white on the nose of that car. It'll be side by side with Devin Anderson as they go through in second and third. Anderson goes wide and there's a touch there and round goes Satullo and he's right in the middle of the pack. This is going to be huge conflagration. Also involved Alfonso Diaz, the tech sport. Second place in the Legends. There's at least 2 or 3 cars in there. The Stars and Stripes, Alfonso Diaz car. Sandy Satullo went round as well. That was the catalyst, I think. Safety car is out. Robert Neuinger was ahead of that. Devin Anderson somehow got through it, and coming through in third, Sam Paley avoided the conflagration. I think it was the car. Oh no, Satullo seemed to lose it on his own there. That was rather bizarre, Peter Mackay.
Very bizarre, and Zachary Lee was lucky to get away from that one as well. He sort of got clipped a little bit in the middle of all of that melee. Actually got onto the grass, and somehow managed to gather it together. Very lucky for Zachary Lee, but completely the opposite for Alfonso Diaz, who seemed to be an innocent bystander there as he came around turn 1, and the moment it's happened across from him, he goes to avoid Sandy Satullo and just couldn't quite make it over in time and gets clipped, and into the barrier he goes. This is an old school circuit. If you make an error here, there is not much room to get away with it. The walls are close.
So unlucky for Alfonso Diaz, second in the Legends at the drop of the green flag. He didn't do anything wrong. I'm just wondering, from the attitude of Satullo's car, whether he got a tiny little touch on the right rear from Sam Paley, which is what pitched him, because he pitched to the left first when you would have expected him with power on out of the right-hand corner to go to the right. And that was what caused the issue. He didn't quite catch the car coming back, not his issue there. And in fairness, Devin Anderson, the tech sport driver who started on the front row, he'd gone very wide as he tried to tough it out on the outside. Satullo is running incredibly. I thought there would be so many more cars involved. Zachary Lee in the Silver Bullet. And that car with a grassy moment, but other than that, the reflective silver wrap on that car, the livery, is untouched, and that is a miracle in itself, Peter.
It was. Didn't even get any mud up this side. I think that was a huge miracle, yes. Unfortunately not so for Alfonso Diaz. It must be so frustrating as a driver when you know there's not a great deal you could have done to avoid an incident like that. And it's so busy and it's quick there, you know, at full speed, at full racing speed. You know, they're hitting the brakes at 145 miles an hour down the manual gearbox, and then apexing at 80 miles an hour at turn 1. So it's very, very easy to get it all loose on the exit. And there's, of course, quite a lot of curbing you can go there, and the grip changes, and it just seemed to catch out Sandy Satullo a little bit there. It looks like he's going to try and keep going, but he may well receive the black and orange flag for necessary repair.
I think he'll come in now and let the team have a look at the damage and see if there's anything they can do, because he's at the back anyway, so he can do a couple of runs through the pits lane and not lose a lap at the moment. They'll need to pull some of the right-hand front bodywork off that is hanging around at the back. It's the left rear Now, he did hit the wall with the back of the car as well, so what I couldn't see was any witness marks on the back to see if there had been a little touch by another car. Might be worth having a look at the left front of Sam Paley's car as well to see if we can see anything there, because that was such an odd incident. Left rear exhaust muffler hanging down, and that's been flattened. I don't think, Peter, that car is going to be safe to go out. The whole under tray, that left rear exhaust is hanging down.
In a 24-hour race, maybe you could get it repaired and send it back out again, but in a sprint race like this, no, I don't think so. That's going to require a lot of repair. What a pity for Sandy Satullo.
So through the first corner, Paul Manruik gets away. Satullo and Anderson. It was just really, really odd to see the car switch around. I do think he might have got a tap at the back. He also, I think he clipped Anderson as he went sideways with the front of his car. And Anderson can count himself lucky. I think there'll be some damage on the right-hand side of the tech sport machine of Devin Anderson as well.
Well,
quite extraordinary.
I mean, it is extraordinary. I mean, when someone loses it broadside like that in the middle of the pack, it is just luck then. The 22 car of Devin Anderson, who was right in the middle of that. Aha, great spot shot. There's just the tiniest little dent on the rear right panel there.
And that was when Sandy Satullo went sideways. Now, let's also have a look at the front, if we can, of Sam Paley in the number 26 Paley Motorsport, which is the next car back. And see if we can have a look on, particularly, I think, the left front. Definitely damage on the right rear. Let's see if we can see and try and piece this together, CSI Road America style. I see what... 26 on the left front. That looks all right. No, that looks all right. So if it was a little touch there, it was the merest one. All of this means Robert Noaker leads from Devin Anderson and Sam Paley. Alex Bashura, who started 6th, is up to 4th and leads the Dark Horse Legends. The next Dark Horse Legend, Drew Nobart for NV, who is down in 9th position. Marcus Vento in 5th position. Tate Pritt up to 6th, Corbin Collins 6th, Doug Peterson 7th, and I think there'll be another lap behind the glorious dark grey Mustang Dark Horse safety car. That looks like a car with attitude, that safety car. More than enough to satisfy your need for speed, Peter.
If one of them came up behind you on a track day, the indicator would be going straight on and wait to say, after you, sir.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, these are the thing is, there's so much of a transfer between the Dark Horse road car and what we have here in the Dark Horse Challenge, particularly the gearbox, you know, 6-speed manual gearbox, which I just love. And, you know, Ford brand as well. You look at how much history as well they have here at Road America specifically too. You know, with not necessarily with the Mustang though, strangely. It was actually the Mercury and the Capri in the late 80s where they totally dominated Trans Am here. So that this is almost a new chapter for the Mustang at Road America.
Peter Mackay out there with his knowledge as ever. Whilst we're not racing, and we're not missing anything, I want to take a moment to pay tribute to a recent Mustang Dark Horse driver who Peter and I commentated on in the Invitational, as Sandy Satullo has just dropped the lap. They should have got him out a tiny bit earlier than that, but he's dropped the lap. At the Invitational, there were 9 drivers that came up from Australia and New Zealand. Among them, Tim Miles, who had a brilliant tribute livery to Rod McElrea, the grandfather, the original McElrea Racing, and the start of that racing dynasty, who sadly he died in February, and Tim Miles and Rod's son went to school together, so that's why they're such good friends. And he came over with what looked like a simple white car with blue stripes, but the old number 47 and all the old logos on, and had a great time. Tragically, on Sunday the 6th of July, Tim was out cycling his other great love and was knocked off his bicycle in Sydney by a bus and lost his life. And a couple of weekends ago at Sandown, there was 60 seconds of revved engines and applause for Tim. Tim fulfilled one of his bucket list dreams, to drive at Le Mans in the Mustang Dark Horse R, and we send our condolences to his wife Tracy, to Callie and Erin, his daughters, Kaylee and Erin, his daughters, and of course to the many friends who knew him through his motor racing, his infectious smile, his great storytelling, and his unbounded enthusiasm. He was like a kid with a new bike, and I spoke to him in the Ford Performance Hospitality after his races at Le Mans. Much missed, mourned Tim Miles, who left us far too early in that road traffic accident in July. Somehow poignant and appropriate that was done over the sound of V8 engines, although probably not being revved as much as Tim would have liked, in all honesty. We're going to go back to green flag racing at the end of this lap. Sandy Satullo back out, but he's got a bit of weight saving on that Dark Horse. Robert Noacker Racing number 8. No rear clip and no rear window either, Peter Mackay.
No, that is one way of doing it. Let's just hope he doesn't have to go through the weight check on the way back out of the race, because, yeah, I'm sure they run it very, very close to the minimum weight limit. But, yeah, good to see him back out again. Great work from the Robert Noacker Racing team. I thought that car was surely done for this race at least, but they've patched it back together, and it's ready to go on. It is truly a war horse now.
Oh, very good. I see what you did there. Rather shortened at the back. It's got the unusual aerodynamic cam tail of the Mustang Dark Horse R. At IMSA Radio, by the way, if you want to join the conversation, we've still got 33 minutes to go. It's going to be still more than half an hour of racing to go. That incident at turn 1 is under review by race control. We'll let you know if anything comes of it. Alfonso Diaz's car, I'm afraid, is the second tech sport car in strife this morning, because Colin Harrison did not take the start in the number 9 machine. So Robert Noacker will have to do it again, but this time in a single file restart as they turn through the final right-hander at 14, and he's on the power early as everyone else was still with their front wheels turned. That's a copy boot restart. He's defending to the inside. There's nobody there, Robert. You're defending fresh air at the minute, mate. You can go straight back to the racing line. The battle is for second and third as Sam Paley drags up behind Devin Anderson. He'll get down the inside, and this is a repeat of what we saw at the original start, where Anderson's going to have to tough it out on the outside, and he does exactly the same thing. They're both miles off the track. So Bachura and Marcos Vento behind him, and through, I think, goes Tate Pritt and gets a 2 for there. That number 98 car up into 4th place. That was an awesome piece of opportunist overtaking.
Wow, that is, I mean, a quite remarkable start from Robert Noacker, and on the opposite side, Devin Anderson really half asleep there, and Sam Paley, double winner here last year in car number 26, was determined to make the most of it, and he did. But here comes Anderson, very, very deep on the brakes, coming down the hill, and is he going to get it done? Oh, that's a fantastic move there from Devin Anderson through turn 5, goes around the outside of Sam Paley, and Paley's coming back at him again. Oh, this is wonderful racing.
At the top of the hill, straight back up the inside at turn 6. And, off on the grass, and a problem. Devin Anderson, I think, has a problem. possibly a puncture. He's got the car off. Meantime, there will be, I think, air drive-through penalty for Sandy Sotelo, who takes it immediately with the incident with Alfonso Diaz. That's interesting, because he seemed to be out of control at the time. I suppose he did take him out. So let's work out what happened at the top of the hill. Was there a little touch? There was. Left front to right rear. The rear underbody coming off as well from Devin Anderson's car. And damage to the front as well. Actually, that might have been the front splitter that he's actually ran over his own front splitter there. He's at the side of the road so far. I think this will bring out the full course yellow again. Robert Noack, doesn't want to see that. He's built up about a 2-second lead. And Sam Paley's up into second. I think it's, well, we'll see when they come round. I think that was Marcus Vento up into third place. There's been big changes. There's bits of Mustang Dark Horse R all over the place. Paley down the inside, but does get it done. He's well ahead by the apex. Anderson, who is making a habit, Peter, of toughing it out on the outside. Yeah, he did lose the underbody from the front of the car, I think, and basically then ran over it. And I think at that point he knows his goose is cooked. And it was Marcus Vento who came through in third position. That's brilliant. He's been avoiding all the incidents. Alex Bashura in fourth is the leader in Dark Horse Legends. Then it's Tate Pritt, Corbin Collins, Doug Pedersen, Drew Nobire, second in DHL, which is Dark Horse Legends. Pedro Salvatore for Torre Racing. He's made up some places to ninth. And Joseph Dedricks, who started dead last, is now in 10th position. So he's actually had a decent run as well for Robert Noack Racing. Wow.
Devin Anderson in a big rush to go and see what was wrong. What was unusual, John, was going into turn one there, 4 cars all nearly went off the road simultaneously, to the point where it looked like there was something down on the track. But it seems that one driver missed their braking point and the rest followed. But I wonder if maybe there's something afoot with Devin Anderson's car, and that was maybe what caused him to run deep, and then ran deep again into turn 5, managed to make it work, and then had to pull over. It's an unusual one that there. We'll have to dig in the paddock and find out what happened to Devin Anderson.
I placed before the court cold tyres after a long safety car, hot head from the driver and trying to defend his position. He did basically exactly the same as he tried to do at the first start, held on to his position there. Sam Paley also way off the racing surface, as was Alex Bashura and Tate Pritt. Alex Bashura and Corbin Collins, excuse me. And that allowed Tate Pritt to come through and make up 2 positions at one stage, but Alex Bashura's got one of those back. The number 22 is under tow by one of the Chevy safety trucks. There is a gap to drivers right at the bottom of the hill at turn 5 to shortcut into the paddock here at Road America, and I suspect that is where the Tech Sport number 22 is headed. We'll just probably have to wait for the cars to come through.
This is, well, manna from heaven for Robert Noack, because A, he's leading the race, but B, his 2 nearest championship rivals are out the race, John.
So our safety car lights are out. Just time to remind you what has happened in this incident-packed 18 minutes at the original start. Sandy Sotelo getting sideways, clipping the number 22 car of Devin Anderson, and then taking out the Alfonso Diaz Tech Sport number 15 car at the very quick exit of turn number 1. 80 miles an hour at the apex there. They'll have been doing all of that at the start. Then the battle for second place overall. Sam Paley down the inside on Devin Anderson in the Tech Sport car. Anderson off the side of the circuit after a little bit of contact. Took off his own front under tray. That car on its way back to the pits.
if there were contact to Devin Anderson during that early incident, might that be a reason why there was a potential issue with that car?
It's on the right rear. Could be, I suppose. Might have done something to the rear suspension. It looked a bit higher than that. That's speculation. We shall find out. Robert Noack goes in exactly the same place again as we go back to green with 25.5 minutes remaining, and Sam Paley was wise to that in the Paley Motorsport number 26. Leader has got away, Noack, by a couple of cars lengths as they go under the starter's stand, but Paley's right there, and Marcus Vento in third place. Then the dark-coloured Alex Bashura in that olive green number 33 that leads the legends off the track for a moment with the Michelin tyres doing a bit of grass tracking for the leader of Robert Noack on the exit of 2 down underneath the signpost into the right-hander at number 3 under the Sargento Real Cheese bridge. The crossover connects the infield parking and camping area to the rest of the track, and it's going to be side by side again, I think, down to Canada Corner as they come down to turn number 8 first of all at the bottom of Harry Downs and through, excuse me, that was turn number 5. I'm pushing them far too far down round the lap. Now they're coming down that quite steep run into turn number 8 before they go into the signature carousel and through the kink. You can hear the rev matching of the stick shift gearbox. Very sophisticated system that is lifted directly from the Dark Horse road car, and which a couple of drivers now, pro drivers at that, have told me is too good to turn off. They're expected to give it a go once or twice and then turn it off, and they've said for track use it is absolutely superb. As Bashura, leader in the Dark Horse, wants a place on the overall podium. Peter, you've said his results this year good enough for second place in the overall championship, and he wants an overall podium again here at Road America.
Yes, he does. Yeah, that he does. Yeah, because you look at Devin Anderson in third and Sandy Sotolo in fourth, both not finishing the race. So another opportunity for Bakura to. Oh, now who into the? Is that Sam Paley going into the pits?
Yeah,
Sam Paley in the pits.
That's a drive-through for incident responsibility with the number 22, Devin Anderson. Wow. Well, that one is going to be discussed because he was ahead at the apex of turn 6 as a spin further down the field for Joe Dadrich for Robert Noack of Racing as he came out of the final corner and went across the track, and he'll get that pointing in the right direction. Race control, I'm guessing, has said that Sam didn't leave enough room on the outside for the number 22 of Anderson, and that will be why he has been penalised.
Well, that's it's a pretty firm penalty. That is a big message from race control to say we will not stand for that. And I think Sam Paley would be pretty aggrieved. He would say that's just hard racing, but that's a big penalty, and that has huge implications as well. Sam Paley really needed those championship points. He needed a result after it's not the best start to the season, so no, that's not good for him. And this is all just playing into Robert Noacker's hands, who's just calmly extending his lead by 2.7 seconds.
Marcus Vento, this would be his best finish of the season in the number 18 Macumbi Macaleer Racing Spark Performance. Third different team in third position, and Alex Bashura leading the Dark Horse Legends on the overall podium. Tape Pritt just another 2 seconds behind. What a good run for him. That would be third in the Dark Horse category for automatic racing. One of the smaller teams, just a single entry for them. Fourth position, fifth Corbin Collins, sixth Doug Peterson, Drew Neubauer second in the Dark Horse Legends, just a couple of tenths ahead of Paolo Salvatore for Torre Racing. That's a good little battle further down as well. then Stephen Verger. Riding at the top 10, Zach Lee, after his eyes would have been wide open after that first corner incident in that mirror silver car, just going through the final corner now and heading up the hill. Behind him, Zach Lee. And behind Stephen, Zach Lee rather. And in fact, Zach's just got ahead of Stephen, as I was talking about. Then Tom Tate, Nick Smither, Scott Thompson about to come to the line. Joseph Dedricks a little bit further down. Sam Paley has served his penalty. And we're hearing as well that the LAP, and that's another identical spin for Joe Dedricks at the exit of the final corner. And also hearing that Scott Thompson has gone behind the wall out on track as well. George is taking way too much speed into the final corner at turn 14. Some damage on the left rear of that car as well.
Yeah, I think that he might have picked that up on the first spin he had, maybe clipped the wall slightly on the inside, because he'd been moving off the grass on the inside. Strange one there for Joseph Dedricks, but yeah, he's looking a little bit scuffed up there, but he's still going. Meanwhile, at the front, Robert Neuecker, he's really put a big extension into his advantage on the last lap, with a last time by a 2:18.1, playing a 2:20.5 for Alex Batura. So the gap is now up to 5.8 seconds. And when you consider last year, the two races were decided by 2.8 seconds and 3.4 seconds. So already Neuecker's putting in a dominant performance. But this is kind of what we've become used to.
It's been a bit of a free kick, in fairness, for Robert. Alex, riding high in the overall championship, is one of the legends, so slightly more experienced in years, if not in racing. But in reality, with Sandy Saturlo and certainly Sam Paley taking themselves out of it, I suppose you've got to add Devin Anderson to that as well, who'd qualified really well. They're all out of contention for major points here. The question now will be, how hard does Alex Batura fight to hold on to second in the overall, when his points in the Dark Horse Legends will not be affected if that Marcus Vento car goes through. The blue and white Valvoline livery, iconic Ford racing livery, in behind the Army olive and orange number 33 of Spark Performance. Just a little bit of damage to the right rear of the Bashira car. A bit of bodywork, I think, just waving around there. So there's been a bit of contact there as well in the rough and tumble of the first 8 laps. Peter McCann.
It is a curious one, isn't it, for Alex Batura, because yes, he's dominant in the Dark Horse Legends category, but he's got such a good points tally in the overall category. I think he's gonna really want to hang on to the second position. I think he's going to fight it hard, and judging by the pace and judging by the body language of the car, he's in no mood to give Vento an easy time of things. Definitely not, as they come around the carousel properly quick through there in one of these Dark Horse R machines, around 90 miles an hour throughout the whole way, and then you exit at 110 before taking a big deep breath for the kink at 125 miles an hour through there. It is quick. And these cars are mainly a mechanical grip car. They don't have a huge amount of aerodynamic performance, unlike the Mustang GT3, which is, I guess, the ultimate evolution of it. But it's very much a pure race car in that way. But through the kink, there's going to be a lot going on through there.
Peter McKay, John Hindhaugh watching the action here at Road America. Race 1 of a busy Saturday, Super Saturday, with the Michelin Pilot Challenge. Well, we'll see the Mustang GT4s in action, and we'll round off the day with our live free unblocked, uninterrupted coverage of the WeatherTech Sports Car Championship qualifying, whether you're here in the US or further afield, on the YouTube feed and on the player at IMSARadio.com, video player as well there. We will bring you action right through till, if not the darkness, at least to the twilight. For performance team profile today, we're looking at Robert Noecker Racing. Robert leading the team from the front, literally, with the number 13 car that is his steed this weekend, as ever, with a 7.5 second lead. 63, a little bit further down the field in 15th position, that's Joe Diedrichs. He's had a couple of spins at the final corner, and finally the number 7 car, Sandy Satulo, the damaged car, been in and out the pits a couple of times but has not come back out the pits for the number 7 car. This is why the number 7 isn't on the timing and scoring at the moment after that spin at the first corner. Very unfortunately taking out Alfonso Diaz as well for Tech Sport. So all 3 of the Tech Sport cars out as well. Devon Anderson, Alfonso Diaz and Colin Harrison not making the start. So not a banner Saturday for them. At the other end of the racing gods, looking down, Robert Noecker has once again produced a heavenly performance, Peter Mackay, albeit without some of his usual competition, but you can only race who's out there, and he's eased his lap time a little bit with 14 minutes to go. Really now, he needs to bring this home and tick off another pole win and fastest lap, which he seems to be collecting.
He is collecting those gentleman sets for sure, and his best lap time is a 2:18.1. Last time out, like when we came here last year, when the championship was very new, Sam Paley's pole time was a 2:22. That's how much of an improvement both the teams have found out of this car, getting it optimised, but also Robert Noecker's just complete dominance. I mean, every sector of the track is way faster than we saw last year, both himself as well. I mean, right, compared to his own best times through each sector. I mean, through sector 2 alone, he's 3 seconds quicker than last year.
Yeah.
So his own personal improvement, along with the optimization of the car and everything that goes in between, just remarkable. And you have to think that with Ford Performance's growing presence in sports car racing, with the successful Mustang GT3 program, and of course with a hypercar as well, they're going to need a bigger roster of drivers.
Good
and
point.
Well, why not hire from within? I mean, Robert Noecker is proving that he is a step above everybody right now.
Has been a change of Michelin tyre since we were last here, and change of size, which allowed Michelin to use a different type of tyre. They went down actually to an 18-inch rim and tyre at the end of last season, or the beginning of this season. That was met with universal praise from the teams. Sam Paley, one of the bigger movers, early on, but now down in 13th position, 6th in the Dark Horse Legends class for Paley Motorsport, and beginning to catch some of the other teams. Either that or he knew he was on camera. He must have known he was on camera, I think.
We sang him happy birthday at Le Mans, didn't we?
We did. The Ford, another one of the Ford junior drivers who did themselves no harm at all in that Mustang Dark Horse Challenge Invitational. What a sight that was. Nearly 40 cars around the 8.5 miles of Circuit de la Sarthe. If you missed that, the video is still available. 2 races. Saturday's race, absolutely a barnstormer. And that's on the Ford Performance YouTube channel. Also the audio, if you want to listen to the audio and carry that around. We did free practice 2, a special show from qualifying, where we did it from the balcony of the Ford Performance VIP Centre trackside looking towards the Ford chicane. That was a lot of fun, Peter and I. Joined by Andy Prio for some of those broadcasts. Down the inside, exactly, that downhill braking area at what is effectively turn number 3. So there is a little kink on the run down from 1 to 3. So Zach Lee just getting ahead of Drew Neubayer, and that is a place in Dark Horse Legends as well. So Zach Lee, who was impeded a little bit, Peter, in having to avoid, masterfully one has to say, possibly legendary in the way he did that at the start of the race, now beginning to get back into his stride. 10 minutes left, it's going to be a big ask for him to get back up to Alex Bashura, but he's now well inside the top 10 and straight on at the bottom of the hill. Oh my goodness me, this is Sam Paley, and that is turn 5. Something very odd has happened there. There's damage to the offside door, the right-hand side door, and there must have been a coming together there. Paley was catching up with Nick Smithers, and that is a big incident to go all the way through there into the runoff area. Paley in the wars today, Peter, and perhaps trying to make up for that drive-through. 9 minutes left. I'll never say that we won't get back to green, because the AMR safety team and track services, as always, absolutely on point. But Robert Neubayer, well, I was going to say he probably doesn't mind this, except the fact his 10-second lead or thereabouts has just evaporated. But he's shown himself on the restarts to be plenty capable in terms of holding on to that. Very, very odd incident at the bottom of the hill at turn 5.
Yes, it is. It's a very, very quick place. You know, when the cars are hitting the brakes there, and it's a downhill braking zone as well. 150 miles an hour, they're hitting the braking zone all the way down to 50 miles an hour to get around the fifth corner. So, yeah, that's a big one there for Sam Paley.
Front of that car has stood up very well indeed. Oh, he was on his own. He was on his own, and that looks to me, wow, through 2 tyre bundles and pinging a stack of tyres over the catch fencing. Impact on the left-hand side first, as I think probably a stuck throttle there as the back wheels were spinning, and smoke coming off all 4 wheels as he was trying to get the car slowed down. The good news is Sam Paley has climbed out of the car. It puts his 2 thumbs up to the AMR safety team. Well, that was a scary moment for young Sam Paley.
Yeah, great to see him get out there, big thumbs up and stride off under his own power. And Sam had to think very quickly there. He quickly pitched the car into a slide to try and scrub some speed off. And, you know, the design, what a great advert there for the circuit design and safety, where you had those staggered tyre bundles to take the energy out and to take the speed out before reaching the last barrier. All doing its job there and allowing the driver to get out safely. That's a massively fast place. One of the I would say that's got to be one of the fastest braking zones anywhere on the calendar.
Yeah.
So very pleased to see Sam walk out there okay.
Probably all the way down to second or maybe third for these cars, down through the 6-speed manual gearbox, the stick shift. Yeah, that something was not optimal at that point. Car stood up to it really well. There's some bodywork damage, as you might imagine. The cars share an inordinate amount of parts with the road car, and indeed for performance really encourage the drivers and teams to make a relationship with their local Ford dealer, because they are also issued with a rather thick parts book with all of the standard Ford parts that these racing cars have on them, and things like the bonnets, the hoods, the wings, slam panels, etc. All of those crash parts, as they're called, they are all common with the road car. Coming down to 5.5 minutes to go. Let's see if we can shed any more light on what happened to Sam Paley, who had that scary moment. I think, just got past your daydreams. He's got no brakes there, Peter, and the back wheels are still spinning right up to the moment of impact. As he goes in, he's braking, but there's still power going to the rear wheels.
Yeah, great spot. Yeah, and like you say, right until the point where the engine loses power, that's the only point where that's scary. That's really scary, and Sam dealt with it very well. But still a very young man, and showed experience beyond his years there. A lot of parts to be ordered in that for performance book, I think. And you look at also the more specific race parts that go on the car, like Borla exhaust system. That's why the car sounds so good. Brembo brakes, Apex forged enduro wheels, and I think the biggest thing on this car is the damper setup. Is the Multimatic DSSV dampers. Seriously special damper. I mean, last week we were at Imola for the Classic, and there was an LMP1 prototype that had Multimatic DSSV dampers on it.
So we have the white flag. We will finish, I'm afraid, behind the glorious Dark Horse safety car. We got a chance to get up close and personal with the ultimate iteration of the Dark Horse at Le Mans. It was sitting on the stand, almost willing us to take it out and give it a run on the French country roads.
They even had a Mustang GT3 as well.
Yeah, that's what I mean, yeah.
Yes, yeah, which a certain Formula One world champion was driving with former Top Gear presenter. The video's just come out on the Ford Performance YouTube as well.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I've seen that, yeah.
So I need to have a look at it. Actually, I've seen clips, but I need to watch it all the way through. One clip I loved was Chris Harris asked Max Verstappen, he said, have you got one of these? He says, no, but now I think I might have to ask for one for driving around Monaco.
Well, Verstappen will be powered by Ford next year, of course, with the Red Bull powertrain technology engine at Milton Keynes. Under development now. That will be a blue oval engine for next year, and Ford underlining their return to Formula One with the Formula One Academy support. Cloyd Chambers has been doing good work there.
And Ford have such a history with Formula One powertrains, don't they? You know, the Ford Cosworth DFV, the most successful engine in history in Formula
And that'll
One.
probably never be beaten now, Peter.
I doubt it. Yeah, I don't think a rule cycle would be long enough now.
No. And you'd have to have every car on the grid having the same
Yes,
engine as well, probably, to get the same kind of points total and wins total.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, it was a pretty good investment from Sir Walter Hayes.
Nearly didn't happen though, Peter, did it?
No. £100,000. It seems in those days it would have been a lot of money, even in motor racing terms. But that investment definitely paid out over and over again, with the blue oval being on the engine cover of so many Formula One race wins.
And that engine begat so many other V8, both normally aspirated and indeed right up to the DFX, the turbocharged engines. Later in that cycle, proved that £100,000 back in the mid-1960s was money well spent. Thank you for getting up early this morning to join us here trackside at America's National Park of Speed. Good to have your company. Apologies that we didn't finish off under the green flag, but those of you who can't see the incident down at Turn 5, it was a pretty scary one for Sam Paley. He's fine. But we have lost then Sam Paley, Scott Thomas Devin Anderson, Sandy Satulo and Alfonso Diaz in incidents during this race, and Colin Harrison didn't start. There will be 13 finishes. Congratulations to our class winners, who are first and second behind the Dark Horse safety car as they're through Canada Corner for what will be the final time. Robert Noacker will put another tick in the W column. Still absolutely perfect in 2025 and has cleaned up with the trifecta again of pole, fastest lap and the race win. Alex Bashura, having done the same in the Dark Horse Legends today, will come home second. The gap, therefore, between those two in the overall championship will grow slightly because of the difference between the overall points. But Alex Bashura underlining his dominance in the Legends category. We're beginning to run out of superlatives for Robert Noacker and RNR, Robert Noacker Racing. He has taken 2025 by the scruff of the neck, and the Mustang Challenge Race 1 here at Road America will go to the white and blue, number 13, and Robert Noacker, having survived a couple of restarts, stayed away from the carnage, has added to his championship lead and extended the advantage that he has. As the checkered flag is out, Noacker takes it in the Dark Horse class. In second overall, Alex Bashura takes the Legends ahead of Dark Horse Marcus Vento, second in his class, third overall. Tate Pritt, Corbin Collins and Doug Peterson make up the top 5 in Dark Horse. Zach Lee got up into second place, remember, in the number 48 after just missing out on that huge incident, lap 1, turn 1. That was a great drive back from Zach in the silver 48 ahead of Drew Nobart, who's in 8th and 3rd in the DHL class. Paolo Salvatore holds on to a top 10 position in 9th. Then Stephen Vager for NV, Tom Tate, Nick Smithers and Joe Deirdricks comes in 8th position in the number 63, 13th overall. Unofficial results then for this first race, and good to see Alex Bashura right in once again, Peter, amongst the Dark Horse. A somewhat self-destructing top part of the Dark Horse field, but nevertheless, good results for Marcus Vento, Tate Pritt, Corbin Collins and Doug Peterson, all in the overall top 6.
Yeah, and that really tightens things up in that top 6. When you take Robert Noacker out of the equation, the points are very tight. And yeah, for those drivers, particularly for Douglas Vento, is looking really good. Marcus Vento, excuse me. Really big opportunity for him to get up into the top places in the championship.
Sam Paley, Scott Thompson, Devin Anderson, Sandy Satulo and Alfonso Diaz not making the trip with a variety of incidents, not least, possibly more scary, that Sam Paley incident at turn 5. So, the Robert Noacker steamroller continues through the 2025 season. Just checking that there haven't been any changes or penalties applied to what we've just told you. No, that has been confirmed. So we wait now until tomorrow for these cars to come out again. So a slightly unsatisfactory end to the race for us as race fans, but not for Robert Noacker. Right from the drop of the green flag, carnage at the start with Sandy Satulo causing the big accident that took out Devin Anderson, and then right at the end we finish under yellow after Sam Paley down at turn 5 had the big shunt. Noacker takes Dark Horse and increases his championship lead. Alex Bashura takes the Legends.